This gentleman looks a little bit familiar, but I'll be telling you that story and where we met some time back a little bit later. But first things first, there's a way that we welcome our guests in studio every single morning fix on 96.3 Nation FM. And that's with this. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd love to welcome our guest today, Bill Kinaro.
Thank you, thank you. Hi.
Yo, those claps are for you, fam.
Thanks. Very, very humbling, to say the least.
The last thing you expected to hear was claps, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
But welcome to Nation FM and Morning Fix, bro.
I'm very excited to be here, to meet you again.
Yes.
To actually be on radio is crazy. If you told me when the year began that I'd be on radio, I wouldn't believe it. But here we are.
Yeah.
And I'm just proud and excited to be speaking about something that I love doing on such a huge platform and to share it with, everyone else.
Absolutely great. So Bill Kinaro, the author, the Bill Kinaro, the guy who's excited about being on radio. Bill Kinaro, in your own words, man, describe yourself. How old are you? You told me your age and I was like, whoa. Maybe you can let our audience know how old are you and tell us something about yourself.
Okay. Bill is a 19-year-old author. I'm the author of Benny and Griffin. It's a book I wrote when I was 15. So it's a project that's very close to my heart. And it's the beginning of my writing. I'm still a student of economics and finance in Kenyatta University. I'm a car enthusiast.
Nice.
I love history. And I don't know if loving food makes me a foodie, but I love food.
I love that.
And I'd one time like to be a bestseller. Yeah, that's a dream.
That's brilliant, man.
Yeah.
I love your energy. I love your enthusiasm as well.
Thanks.
When is the first time in your life when you're like, you know what, this writing thing, I think I like it and I think I want to do it?
My story is quite untraditional because many people are going to have a very deep conversation as to why they wrote. But for me, I think it's been looking back, I feel like it's been something that has just blossomed through my creative writing, through reading. And it was just a thought. It was a thought that struck my head because if you look at the first words of my book, it's a dialogue and it says Benny Benny. So those words hit my head and I just started writing.
Wow.
And it became a book. So my story, that's actually why I never wrote like an intro in the book or try more like a prologue, trying to explain how the book became. But it's just basically the love of writing that pushed me towards it. I'd say that. Yeah.
And which year was that? How old were you?
I was 15 then. I remember I was in Form 2. I was in high school still. And it was just that one afternoon where you just zoned out. And it was just after an English class. And for some reason, I was just chilled out. And when guys were leaving class, I just got the thought. And, I thought about it. And, when I came back for preps in the evening, I just started writing. Shared a story, shared a few pages with my friend, and he was like, I love this. So I think that was it. At that point, I knew this is going to be a book. So I just started pushing. And I think I wrote the book in under a month, which is very exciting. That's a manuscript. I actually wrote it in pencil in an A4 extra book I had. It's a funny story. Pencil, the manuscript is written in pencil. But yeah, that's how it came to be. Yeah.
So how did you get it from pencil to print? And because I know that was now redoing the whole process again.
that was difficult.
Yeah.
Because I remember I was so excited. I wanted the book out. I finished writing in probably end of November, and I remember calling a relative who's very close with the print and the media stuff, publication stuff.
Yeah.
And I called her and I'm like, I've written a book. Nobody in my family knew because I wanted it to be a surprise. I'm like, now these guys are gonna know once I have the physical book. So I call my aunt and I'm like, I need this book typed by 12. The demanding tone, I want this book typed by December the 12th. And she's like, no, I'm busy. That can't happen.
Yeah.
So my bubble was burst at that moment and my heart sank a bit. And actually that put a stop to the progress a bit, because I remember I just typed a paragraph and I'm like, this is just too hard, because I really wasn't hands-on with my typing skills. So you're looking for the Q, you're looking for the T, you're looking for the U.
Yeah.
So when COVID happened is when I actually really worked on it. I was in Form 4 then. So I really just dedicated my Saturdays and some very early mornings. I used to wake up at 4 on the laptop, tune into some nice music on YouTube as I just type.
Yeah.
And I finished it. And then now, once I finished school in 2021, that's when we did our exams. I now started working on everything else, which now became a crazy story.
Yeah.
From finding the perfect graphic designer to do your cover page, to finding a printer, to finding an editor. It's been a crazy ride, but honestly, I've loved every step of it.
I love that. For people who are involved in the creative process, there's usually a feeling that comes to them when, for the first time, they're able to hold what they were creating intellectually.
Yeah.
And now it's something physical. Did you have that feeling as well?
I remember on the 29th of July last year is when the Abuda guy came with the box full of, those 500 copies I first printed. And I cannot explain the feeling. I was over the moon. I was so excited. Just unwrapping it and seeing the final product was so satisfying. All those hours, all those early mornings, all those back and forth with the editor, back and forth with your graphic designer.
Yes.
You really see that it paid off. And I really don't think I can put the feeling into words, but it's an amazing feeling.
Yeah.
Yes.
At 19 years old, you're already an author.
Yes. I'd like to say 15.
Yes. At 15 years old, you were already an author.
Yes.
At 19 years old, you're sitting here and telling us about your book.
Yeah.
It's 4 years that have passed since you first did it at 15 years old.
Yes.
When you think about those 4 years and the process, and now you have time to marinate and to celebrate these processes and have your book in your hand.
Yeah.
What do you consider your most proudest moment? Is it the writing and getting to do it?
Yeah.
Is it the publishing of it and getting to have from pencil, taking it all through that whole process?
Yeah.
Or is it the fact that your book is now there? I know it's a complex question sometimes when you ask people, which one do you love more? Some people say they love the writing because without it, they wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
Some people say, even if my writing sucked, I have a book. So for people, it differs. But which one of those do you say is your proudest moment?
For me, my proudest moment came after publication. And, you have now the physical book. But, with creative arts, it's unfortunate, but the validation is very important.
Yeah.
The validation is very important.
Talk that talk, man.
I cannot express the feeling, going like, I think my biggest moment was when I went to the Nairobi International Book Fair last year in October at Surrey Center. And I was using the Writers Guild stand, and I just went there, very expectant, just wanting to push my book. It was also fairly new at that point in the market, and I happened to sell 43 copies in a span of 3 days.
Wow!
And that was brilliant, because I think I was the person who sold the most copies on that stand, and I remember on the first day I had just dropped off my books, and I was at Carrefour in Surrey Center, and I was just about to leave. I was about to leave and head to school. Then I receive a call from the guys at the stand, and they're like, there are guys here who want your book, and they'd like 17 copies. And it's that point in time where your head freezes a bit, and you're like, what? 17 copies?
Yeah.
And then you get there, and you hear these guys are from the American Embassy, and they're from the Library of Congress, and they just saw your book and decided, yes, we want this book.
Wow.
That was brilliant. And to just sit here, I know that my book is somewhere in Washington, DC, in a library in Germany, Frankfurt. It's a very proud moment.
Brilliant.
Yeah, that's probably my highlight. Besides being on radio.
Yo,
Besides being on radio.
Look at you. Adding us into your proudest moment right there. I like that. I like that. So we're going to be taking a short break. But, yo, that story, congratulations, man.